Let me say something most people are not ready to hear. If you never learn how to be alone, you will never know who you truly are. Now, I'm not talking about the version of you that performs, not the version of you that's shaped by approval, and not the version of you that adapts to survive. I'm talking about the real you. You see, modern society is terrified of silence, terrified of stillness, terrified of being alone with its own mind. And I get it. That's exactly how I felt when I first moved into this apartment here nearly 3 years ago. And I remember turning the key to the door and I looked down and my hands were shaking. I was scared, I was fearful. But here's the truth. You know, if there's one thing that I've learnt in almost 3 years of living here, and that solitude is not loneliness. Solitude is a psychological doorway to self-realization. And one of the greatest minds to ever study the human psyche, Carl Jung, who was a protege of the famous psychiatrist Sigmund Freud, he understood this deeply. He stated that when you step into solitude, you don't step into emptiness, but rather into the most intimate encounter that you will ever have. And that's an encounter with your own self, your true self. Stripped of every mask, every voice that the world has placed upon you. Solitude is not the absence of others. It is the presence of the soul when it is no longer diluted by the collective noise of life. So today I want to show you why your mind fears solitude and what you can do about it. What happens when you avoid it or try to run away from it. And why solitude is where your true power, clarity and purpose are born. So stay with me because this may change how you see yourself forever. Okay, point one. Why the mind fears solitude? I mean, let's just start with the most obvious questions. Why do so many people avoid being alone? Well, with me it was fear. But it's also because solitude removes distraction. And distraction is the ego's favorite defense mechanism. You know, many people are on the go, 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 and some people think this is a good thing. You're on the move, you have to do something, you've got to do this, to become workaholics. That can be a good thing to a certain extent, but it can also mean you're running away from yourself. It's an avoidance tactic. It's an avoidance to your true self. So when you're alone, truly alone, there's nowhere to hide. You have your own company. You face your own demons, and that can be hard for many people, as it was for me. There's no social mask, no role to play, no performance. And Jung understood something profound. He said the unconscious does not reveal itself in noise. It reveals itself in silence. And sometimes it reveals something that you don't want to hear, even though it's what you need to hear. But the moment the noise stops, unresolved emotions can and they will reveal themselves, as they happened to me. Unexamined beliefs, suppressed fears, suppressed emotions. And that's okay, that's all part of the process. Jung called this the shadow. But here's the truth most people never confront. The reality when you think about it is that people don't really fear solitude. They fear what solitude reveals. So instead of sitting by yourself, a lot of people seek constant relationships. They rebound. They want endless stimulation on their phone. They want external validation. And not because they're weak, but because they were never taught how to be on their own. So solitude doesn't destroy you. It strips away illusion. And the ego hates that. And that leads me on to point number 2, solitude and individuation. Yes, it's a long word. It's a word that I've just learnt lately as well. So, individuation. And that was a word that Jung used to become your true self. Not perfection, but just wholeness. So individuation is a journey from who does the world want me to be to who am I actually meant to become. Individuation does not happen in crowds. It happens when you're on your own, in solitude. Why? Because your true self doesn't emerge through conformity. It emerges through inner dialogue. And solitude creates a psychological environment where intuition rises. Inner symbols emerge. Deeper values reveal themselves. And this is why Jung often withdrew from the world at times. And that wasn't to escape life, but to understand it from the inside out. And most people never individuate. They simply adapt. They become a collection of inherited false beliefs, social conditioning, and unconscious programming. But you see, when you're on your own, solitude interrupts this pattern. When you spend time alone intentionally, something begins to shift in your mind. You begin to hear your own thoughts. You become aware of the thoughts that are holding you back. You become aware of your own thoughts instead of societal programming. And you feel the difference, the misalignment, instead of numbing it out. And you start asking questions like, is this life actually mine? And at that moment, that's where authenticity is born. That leads me to point number 3, what solitude actually gives you. Solitude isn't passive. It can be very transformative. And once you learn to live in solitude with a calm mind, it gives you 3 psychological powers that I'll quickly run down now. And the first one is emotional sovereignty. You stop outsourcing your emotional stability to others because you become more in control of your emotions. You learn to sit with discomfort and learn and grow. And this can be very hard, as it was for me at first, especially if you're new to it, as I was. But over time, you learn to regulate yourself and you see who you truly are, warts and all. You begin to understand your reactions to life situations and people. And then what happens is that you no longer need people to complete you because you've finally met yourself. And that can be a scary thing when we confront ourselves, as it was for me, damn scary. The second point I'll quickly cover is clarity of direction. Because noise creates confusion. White noise when you're running around creates confusion. Silence creates coherence. And this is why your best ideas don't come in chaos or when you're busy or when you're running around and you've got too many things going on. They come when you close your eyes and you're sitting in a peace. Some people meditate. A lot of people meditate, go on walks. This can happen late at night or in a dream or even when you're having a nice shower. You see, the mind speaks when the world goes quiet. And the third point I want to quickly cover is your inner authority. Now, Jung believed that the greatest danger wasn't evil. It was unconsciousness. So solitude brings awareness. And awareness creates authority. Not dominance, but authority over your own life. You stop needing permission. You stop chasing approval. You start living from alignment. So let me leave you with this last part of this talk. If you avoid solitude, life will eventually force it upon you. And this can happen through burnout, through loss, through disillusionment. But if you choose to become one with solitude, to learn how to be on your own, you reclaim your power before life takes it from you. And Jung once said that who looks outside dreams, but who looks inside awakens. So solitude is not withdrawal. It's an initiation to yourself. It's the threshold between the conditioned self and the conscious creator. So the real question isn't, can you handle being alone? The real question is, are you brave enough to meet yourself? And this can be a hard thing, as it was for me. I don't want to face myself, but life's got a funny way of making you face yourself. Because the life you're searching for externally is waiting for you internally, in silence, in stillness, and in solitude. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as it helps me out a ton. Also watch some of my other videos here. Peace out. See you in the next one.